Welcome back to the History Den. I'm historian Miss Maletti, and I'm going to take you back in time, back to the 1990s to be exact, when two hikers found a frozen man in the Italian Alps. They later called this man Otzi and discovered that he was 5,000 years old, a Paleolithic man frozen in time. I wanted to take you back in time of who Otzi was as a man. Through carbon dating, we know that he was about 5,000 years old, which would put him between Paleolithic and Neolithic. I'm leaning more towards he was a Paleolithic nomad man because he wasn't a farmer. We know that from his soft palms that he wasn't out working the fields every day. He was carrying around supplies that would show that he's more of a nomad. He's moving around, probably from community to community. He was eating cultivated food, which proves that he was part of the Neolithic Revolution. He was eating cultivated plants like acorn, which we know based off his stomach content. He was carrying supplies on his back like a wooden frame backpack. He had spears, axes, bow and arrow. He had everything he needed as a nomad man, so he was probably a hunter. Starting off, our first guest, Dr. Lamar, is going to explain the pains and ailments that Otzi must have been feeling on his journey and throughout his whole life. Dr. Lamar?
Well, hello, how are you? I am a 45-year-old man, so I really understand how a 45-year-old man would have felt. So Otzi, we have to understand, as we went through his body, that he had some significant joint pain. And the reason he had joint pain is for two specific reasons.
Okay.
One of them was Lyme disease. One of the earliest cases we've ever found of Lyme disease in a human, and luckily we found him. So that is a tick-borne illness. He was probably born bit by a tick, and what happens is that can over the time cause chronic muscle fatigue, joint pain, a mental fog, amongst other things.
Okay.
This definitely at that age would have been pretty chronic and caused him pain a lot. Another thing would have been the fact that at each joint we found significant wear and tear, and at some places bone on bone where cartilage had worn away, otherwise known as arthritis.
Arthritis?
So this was an arthritic 45-year-old man, used to the environment, used to the elements, but definitely lived in significant pain.
Okay.
So that is very important for us to know. Quickly, I'd like to tell you, one of the things that we found on him were 61 tattoos throughout his body at the places of the pain that we know that he had, the wear and tear. We believe that the reason he had these two tattoos were not for adornment or decoration. They were actually religious or medicinal so that he could feel better. That's one of the things that led us to realize that a 45-year-old man with significant joint pain and Lyme disease would not just be taking a leisurely climb through the Italian Alps. Thanks for giving me this time.
No problem.
Hopefully I can come back later for other segments. Goodbye.
Thank you, Dr. Lamar. It's good to know. Tattoos on the joints, we can make the assumption that maybe they were medicinal, maybe they were religious, and that they would make him feel better. Moving on. As you can see, History Den is making history. We got Otzi here live for you. Dr. Lamar is going to do an autopsy for you, and he's going to go over what was going on inside the anatomy of Otzi himself.
This is an amazing find. I can't believe you got this. You must have really pulled some strings
Oh yeah.
at the museum in Italy. Let me first sanitize myself. This is a find of a lifetime. I am so excited about this. So first of all, I would like to look at the brain. If I remember correctly, there was a wound at the, oh gosh, I'm so excited, at the back of the head that he was struck and he fell forward, and boy, did I put a lot of hand sanitizer on, and he kind of landed like that. So I'd like to look at the brain. Trusty scalpel. This is very hard. Let me just kind of pop that.
Oh wow, that's a brain right
Yes,
there.
and you see the wounds in the back of the head?
Yep, the dark shades.
Yes, the dark shades. He was struck. He was struck from the back. So we're going to put that over there. Very interesting.
How do we know that it was a rock?
Well, if you look at back here at the skull, you can see the cracking there.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like a pretty blunt object. I would imagine that it was a rock.
Definitely a rock.
But we can't be sure because it's 5,000 years ago. But I mean, I am so excited by this. Do you mind if I cut into...
Dig in, man, dig in.
Dig in, that's funny. Here we go.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Gotta get just some old muscle there. That's a little gooey. All right. Whoa. Oh, boy. Wow, we got some pretty cool stuff in there. All right. Oh, wow, this is amazing. Yep. I have to take my glasses off. Honestly, they're fogging up.
I'm fogging up too.
Yeah, I'm fogging up. All right, so first of all, we have a lung. And if you look at this lung, you're going to see right here that there's a lot of black. And these people, they lived around fire all the time. They cooked, their light, their heat. From a young age, they would always be inhaling that smoke, secondhand smoke, whatever it is, a lot like smoker's lungs. So this young man, 45-year-old man, would have definitely had some issues, possibly with breathing. Which kind of leads me to think, like, what is he doing climbing up there, right? We do know that he was extremely well muscled. Let's keep digging deep.
Okay.
Whoa.
Oh, wow. What is that?
I gotta kind of just rip the heart out.
Oh,
all right. He suffered from a broken heart. Oh, so he had some heart disease. Wow, that's interesting. We can see some of the expansion there. Okay.
How does someone so fit like Otzi have heart disease?
Well, it could be many things. Obviously, we have some blackened lungs. We have some things like that. It could be genetic. Okay. We just don't know. We can't tell that right now. Okay, so that's another thing. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's another thing that we have here that we have to realize. So heart disease, some lungs.
What about the stomach?
The stomach had some food in it.
What kind of food?
Ooh, it's like shrunken though. It's kind of like it's shrunken. Let's just put it here.
Okay.
It had some ibex goat meat in it, some grains.
Grains?
Yes. Believe it or not, we believe that he actually passed through some communities. And what happened was he picked up some cooked bread, grains. I think it was acorn.
Okay, so he's alive during cultivation. So he's kind of in between the Paleolithic and the Neolithic.
Yes. Holy moly! Look at this, the pooper. Hold on.
Whoa.
Okay, I'm gonna leave the intestines in there. Can't get them out.
Okay.
What I'm seeing though right now is we have some whipworm eggs in there, which is an intestinal parasite.
Oh my.
So this man, now let's kind of put this together really quickly. This would have caused him intestinal irritation, some pains in his lower abdomen. So this man not only has Lyme disease, this man not only has some heart disease, this man not only has blackened lungs, this man not only has arthritis in his joints, he also has some stomach pain. Now, my only question, and I gotta get another appointment, but my only question to you is, and you're the historian, you figure this out, what is a man of 45 years old in this kind of pain, even though he's in good shape, climbing the Alps for? You know what? I got a really good buddy, Dr. Stevenson. Okay. I'm going to send him in. He's a weapons expert. He's a murder expert, and maybe he can help you out. Guys, over and out.
Thank you, Dr. Lamar. Hopefully we can get Mr. Stevenson in and he can really explain what's going on with Otzi. How can someone in so much pain be going up and down a mountain? We'll find out. Welcome back. Lucky for you, we were able to get our historian, Mr. Stevenson, and he is going to give us some information about the tools that we found on Otzi's body. Okay, so tell us what was on him. What was he carrying?
Otzi, he was carrying, among other things, a copper axe. He had a quiver full of arrows, a lot of clothing. He had a small axe, I believe.
Little handheld?
Little handheld axe,
okay.
yeah.
Copper, that doesn't seem right to me. Are you sure he had copper at that time?
Yes, that was one of the more unusual and rare items that Otzi had on him. Because at the time, we're talking about 5,300 years ago, humans were in the early stages of using copper. It was the first metal that humans worked with. So it was pretty rare that someone would have a copper axe, and it would also indicate that Otzi was just not a run-of-the-mill person, that he was someone of importance.
Okay, thank you. So, we're kind of going with the idea that maybe Otzi was killed, was murdered. Can you tell me why someone would not take the copper axe if it's so important, so rare? Why would they just leave it behind?
Yes, that's a good question. If you're going to go to the trouble of murdering somebody, you would probably murder them because you want to take what they have.
Right.
And you wouldn't leave a copper axe on the murder victim because that would be a wasted murder if you're murdering somebody to rob them. So We believe that Otzi was murdered for another reason. Something else is going on here. Maybe something more personal.
Personal, right. They didn't want to be caught with it later and have to answer questions of where did Otzi go.
Exactly.
Let's move on further. We found in his back, and it took multiple scientists taking looks and x-rays, we found a stone, which was an arrowhead, in his back. I believe it's the scapula. What was that doing there?
Well, that's a funny place to carry an arrowhead.
That's what we thought.
Yeah. So that would indicate that Otzi took a very lethal blow from that arrow, and that was probably what killed him.
What happened to the shaft of the arrow? They found the arrowhead, but where did the arrow go?
That I'm not sure. Maybe it broke off and was carried away by the glacier. Maybe it disintegrated. I'm not sure what happened to the shaft.
Well, we're just making theories now. Thank you so much for your help. We really appreciate you being a guest star, and hopefully we can get you on our next episode.
Oh, yeah, I don't think so. I'm only doing paid gigs after this, so.
Well, darn. Thank you anyway.
You're welcome. Carry on.
Mr. Stevenson, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back. It's gonna be up to us. What happened to Otzi? Who killed him? Why did they kill him? Why did they leave the copper axe? The mystery of Otzi, forever.